Didn't happen in 49, 61, 63 or 69 when they reached the final. But the class of 2021 have delivered. Leicester City are FA Cup winners at last and are history makers at Wembley.
Hello, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
for all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels.
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
The Leicester Till I Die shop is now open.
For all your Leicester Till I Die merchandise,
Visit the Leicester Till I Die shop at our website.
They have blown their rivals away. They have blown us all away in truth. Premier League champions 2016. The amazing Leicester City.
Leicester Till I Die TV. Your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
Right, Chris.
All right there. All right at the back. How the devil are we all? Well, it was a win. I mean, the job was done, was it not, before we even landed in Denmark? But as performances go, that was bloody rubbish. I mean, we had no passing. We couldn't find each other. We couldn't play a through ball that would find one of our own players. And it was a pretty good team that we put out there. And I mean, we've had some very good performances recently, and we needed to go there. Yes, we got the job done. Yes, we got the goals. But does that performance give you a little bit of hope that going into Burnley we might get something? It doesn't me. I think Burnley could actually do us over. I really do. This is the European preview show. I think Brad might not agree with me. We'll find out in a minute. This is what it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the main event of the evening. 60 minutes of football fun and banter with Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV. Are you ready? Let's get ready to rumble.
And you can find us on YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV. And if you are listening on Catch Up on the podcast, thank you so much for that. That's Leicester Till I Die on all your major podcast platforms, Amazon, Apple iTunes, Google, Spotify, Podcast Addict, just to name a few. And I suppose tonight was one of those nights where maybe the performance didn't matter and the result did. Would you agree, Brad?
Yeah, to a degree. You might want to unplug and plug your mic back in, mate. I'm not sure if it might just be me, but I'm struggling to hear you a bit.
Okay. Give us your thoughts on the game while I just do that.
I mean, I don't know what really people expected. The job was done in the first leg by a very strong side. We're a side lacking in confidence throughout. So there were some players tonight that got the chance to play that didn't feature against Randers in the home leg, or as much as they would have. And yeah, right, it was lackadaisical and it wasn't brilliant, but at the end of the day, the tie was done. They were killed off before they even had a chance to settle down after 100 seconds with Barnes' goal. And yeah, Leicester are guilty of maybe taking the foot off the gas. It's only natural. As much as we'd love to see them run rampant today, they wasn't so much about doing that. They did that with ease in the end. In the end, they did that with ease. 2 bits of classic magic. Doesn't matter if they had 20, 30 shots and we had 7. We put the ball in the back of the net, they couldn't. That's what mattered. We played the opposition that was in front of us.
We did, but we spoke before. And does that sound better, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I had got the wrong mic plugged in because I did have a few technicals, as they say, just before I came live. But a lot of people were saying that, and I know that it's all ifs, buts, maybes, etc., but had we got through the Europa stage in second place and ended up with Barcelona, and a lot of people were shouting, Barcelona, we want to play Barcelona. If that was Barcelona, we'd played tonight, and I don't really know what difference of a team we could have played that would particularly be any better, but they would have got 4 or 5 past us. And, you know, when you look at that, it was not a good defensive show again.
Two points that completely mute these hypotheticals you're coming out with. We're not playing Barcelona.
No.
We're not falling up against Barcelona. We're not going to the new camp. B, we wouldn't play like that or a side like that, even if we were 4-1 up at the new camp against Barcelona, because it's Barcelona. We respected Randers and respected the need of our squad to all get minutes under their belts and all play and all get that confidence boost that they deserved. And at the end of the day, I put it out on Twitter before anyone comes at me and says, yeah, we beat Randers. Go and check Celtic's result. Because they didn't just crash out tonight, they also lost tonight. They didn't even lose 4-3 by winning the game but losing aggregate. They got beat tonight. So the lad said the job wasn't pretty, wasn't nice.
How different could that team have been? I mean, let's just have a look at...
In terms of what's available to us, probably not a lot, to be fair.
Well, exactly. So, you know, you're saying we wouldn't have played that way had we played against Barcelona. And yes, I agree. Well, maybe we sat in second gear for a lot of that game. But if I was a manager on the side of that, and that was my team putting in that performance, we could not get a through ball. You know, whether it was the fact that we were playing in grey, and like Alex Ferguson said once, we faded into the crowd, and our midfielders couldn't see us. But you know, the only real good effort, apart from the 3 goals, I don't think we had any decent efforts.
But again, we didn't need to. With all the greatest respect I can give to Randers, we clearly didn't need to. They were a side that committed, and fair play to them, went 90 minutes, the full distance, given all they could. But like you said, Chris, Leicester didn't get out of second gear, and it still was more than enough to handle Randers at their best. And Randers gave a great account of themselves. They kept going. They deserved the goal at the end of the night for their efforts. But we were too good. If Barcelona were on there, I can tell you this for free. There's the Dewsbury Hall's in the starting lineup, and I guarantee you he's picking Soyuncu over Vestergaard, and maybe some other changes, maybe even Daka for any outro he's going to go for, and we would not be so lackadaisical on the ball. We could be 4-1 up against Barcelona and it wouldn't have mattered because we know it's Barcelona. When it's Randers, with the greatest respect to them, we saw what we did to them over 90 minutes when they gave their all in the first leg. They were always chasing. The second Barnes stroked home after 100 seconds. No matter how good you are as a side, no matter how professional you try to be, your mentor goes game, set, match. We can just sit this back, absorb it, tie them out, and let's rule the tie out. And yeah, Brendan might not have been overall pleased with the fact that they dominated the game, Randers, because they did, but they couldn't hit a barn door in the latter sense, for lack of a better explanation. They were just not good enough, and they proved that sometimes heart and effort and determination is not always going to bail you out in certain situations. Quality does sometimes overcome it, and that's what we had.
Had they been able to hit a barn door, we would have been in serious trouble. We might even.
But had we been a barn door, we saw what they did when they went on the front foot in the first 20 minutes. We went, hold on a minute, you actually still think you've got a chance, even though it's now 5 on aggregate. Okay, here's what we do. Bang, bit of Madsen magic. They were done. Game over. Sealed it with a third one. And then probably the worst way ever we can see the goal out of all the saves that were made in the blocks of the line. But lo and behold, We're not
And
exactly
Schmeichel made some fantastic saves. We'll come on to their goal in a minute, but Madders didn't sort of put his ball in until the 70th minute. So between the second minute when we scored and the 70th minute when they did, they could easily have got. And all I'm saying is, it's got to be a point of concern when a team of the standard of Randers, that was up. Had they got the number of goals, and they said it on the TV, we could have been looking at a Forest result.
Yeah, and had Frank Lampard's goal against Germany crossed the line,
yeah, but do you not see what I'm saying? Well, we can't say
it doesn't make a difference, mate. With the tempo,
as a manager, you can't honestly tell me that you would go into that dressing room afterwards and say, "That was a fantastic performance, lads. Go away. We don't need to do any training or work on anything until we play Burnley because that was 110%. Brilliant, lads." You could not.
No, I did. Did I ever make that statement in my sentence? Though, no, I didn't. I'm
saying there is points for concern, and you're saying there isn't.
No, there isn't points for concern.
There is that defensive performance.
We were 3-0 up, and it was a bobble on the pitch.
So if we'd gone 3-3, you'd have been happy. If it had been 3-4, and we still gone on away goals, you'd have been happy.
We wouldn't have won.
I'm sorry if that's what you expect from Leicester. Then I don't know.
Hold on. Fucking remind me the score again.
Yeah,
3-1. Who won that game quite convincingly score-wise?
Yeah, I'm saying we won it, but I'm saying there's points of
side
concern.
from Denmark, or was it the Premier League side? Did we win it comfortably?
No.
Did we win it comfortably?
The first leg.
7-2 is not comfortable. If 7-2 is not comfortable, I don't know what your expectations are.
No, I'm on about the second leg. I'm not on about the first leg.
Well, I'm on about
the second leg
for you. How about this one for size? Try a team that hasn't decided their name 5, Celtic 1.
Oh, no, we're not bothered about them. That's not us. Don't give a shit how Celtic are. Why should I worry how Celtic play?
Because apparently you're really worried about a team that's just won 7-2. At the end of the day, you're trying to make a comparison for something that you can't predict. You can't say that that's how we would have performed had that been Marseille.
And then I made the point, and you said there's no points of concern that you saw in that match.
Not
the fact that the team of Randers standard got 20 shots away against us does not worry you in the slightest.
No, because of the circumstances that surrounded the game. Had that been the first leg, no, you see, you're laughing at me, and you're the one saying
because I can't see that you can be happy with that.
I can see it. Listen to my point, actually, let me finish the goddamn sentence. It'd be great, mate. Because my point is, you're not taking it circumstantially. You're taking it on a one-off performance. A one-off performance, no, I'd be terrified of that. I'd be all on board because it was shaky, it was lackluster, it was effortless. But the simple facts of the matter is, no matter your opposition, no matter how much you are, unless you're in an elite few clubs, like if it was Marseille and it was Roma and anyone else that we're in a competition with, I would be worried. At 4-1, we weren't putting in as much effort as we were. And I will admit, the first half was disappointing for myself in terms of what I wanted to see. I wanted to just see us shut up shop, drain them out, get the goals, kill them off, game over. If they score one, cool. If they put the effort in, they deserve it. They did. Fair dues. But at the end of the day, we went into that game with a 3-goal cushion. And knowing the quality of the opposition and how well we can do on a turn-up, yes, if they'd have taken the chances, but also, had they taken that chance, it would have woke them up. Because clearly Brendan Rodgers was okay that we weren't behind in the first half, but wasn't happy with our tempo. We changed that tempo for 5 minutes, 2 goals. That's what I mean. We were able to do it. So yes, there was some things concerned for that defence, but that's not a defence I'm expecting to line up against Burnley. It's not a way we'll play against Burnley because Burnley will be a far higher quality of position. Burnley are a much better run of form, and it's going to be
the only defender that was fit enough to travel. So we may have other players available, and I agree that would then make it a different defence. But looking at what we'd got tonight, the only extra defender we'd got was Soyuncu, and he's not exactly been on the best form this season.
No, he's not.
I mean, don't get me wrong, you're quite right. You're quite right, Brad. We've won it. We've won it easily.
I mean, look, like I said, if this was the first league game, I would be with you. I'd be back in your corner, mate. I don't want to get divided on saying that you're not right in a way, because you are.
No, you're not. You're not wrong.
You know,
if you know what I mean.
Yeah, if you look at it in the four, but if you look at it, you have to look at it as a separate and a context. And as a context, I just feel like.
But my worry is,
if we play like that against Burnley, they're going to get 3 wins in a row defensively.
Yeah, well, that is my worry, because you know, with Leicester this season, when have we ever produced? We've not won in 2022 in the Premier League. We've not kept a clean sheet away from home. We're up against Burnley, who are fighting for their lives, who have just beaten Tottenham. They beat somebody before that, and I apologise if Dan's watching. I can't remember who it was. But I'm worried that if that's the sort of performance that we're dropping back to, because like I say, Burnley won't miss all those chances. That's all I'm saying. I'm concerned about the performance. The result was fantastic. And over the 2 legs, we knocked shit out of them. Of course we did, 7-2. You couldn't really ask for anything more. And we probably didn't get out of second gear. But I just felt worried if we don't increase our performance. And like I say, we've had 2 good performances. And I wouldn't say a good performance would have been 4-5, 6-1 or anything like that. It would have just been closing them down, denying them space. As I say, if we give Burnley the space that they had tonight, we're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah, true. But again, the circumstances are completely different for how we approach the game. We already had a healthy league situation against Randers. You don't have that going into Burnley. We don't have like a 3-0, a 3-0 lead going into Burnley. It's a one-off game. And yes, if we played like that, but I just feel like it was also maybe man-managed for the fact that Brendan, maybe given the injury situations, given the scoreline, given in the nicest way possible, the easiestness of job that should have been in front of tonight, which it ended up being in the end, because we were clinical and they wasn't, and that's come to bite us before. And that purely was the fact that maybe Brendan didn't want them running 120 miles per hour, closing them down. We knew they were going to have to knacker themselves out more, and we knew that if we did that, we'd catch them being a bit slow, catch them running out of energy, catching them looking at the clock going, oh, time slipping away. And lo and behold, that happened. They gave away a free kick. Madders found his magic, and then lo and behold, before they could even think about it again, the game was dead. It happened in blips for Leicester, but if like Leicester played the 90 minutes, we would have destroyed Randers.
Yeah, to me, I agree with what you're saying there, because to me, if that was the game plan, that worked perfectly. But had Randers got a couple of goals, like I say, and all ifs or buts, that game plan's out the window, and suddenly you've got a Leicester that's can't hold on to a lead sometimes, thinking, shit. And that is the one thing. I mean, just see what Jason says here. But like I say, certainly, you say, I'm not saying that you're wrong at all. But Jason says, when you're playing a team which is compared to a conference team or a Sunday team, the problem is the amount of chances we gave Randers was for more than what we give Premier League clubs. That we looked very sloggy at the back. A team like ours should be passing the ball way better. If we played someone greater, we would have been spanked. But my main concern is the amount of chances we gave to Randers, which, as I say, basically is again what I'm saying. You see, we won this game. Now watch how we play against Premier League. See the difference. We will get beat. I mean, like I say, it's quite probably that it is a different game. And as Brad quite rightly says, we may have different. I mean, Vardy may be back. I don't think it might be too soon for Fofana. I don't know, but the chances are we are going to have a different team. But yes, it does make the point that we were kind of lucky that they were shooting everything into Rose Ed.
Yeah, we were. And again, I'd like to emphasise, I think the way it was put on and the way that Leicester went about it, that Brendan kind of maybe said to them, look, got away with that a little bit, did the job roundabout, I like it, but I'd like to see you do this with a lot more comfort than what you are doing. And by that, I mean on the scoreboard. And I feel that even if Randers had come out in that second half, especially when it was, already 5-1 at that point, you get to a certain point where even the most courageous of team just looks at the score and looks at the deficit and looks at, the minutes ticking away and just goes, we haven't got enough. And then get that moment of doubt seeped in for Randers for 5-10 minutes, and we did it. And I feel like even if Randers had got a goal in that stage, we would have then just seen what we did and turned it on a bit and stepped it up just a bit. And that's what gets me is if we play like this in terms of lackadaisical and passing, then yeah, obviously I'll be very concerned of how we're doing it. But I think it actually merits the occasion, given a lot of circumstances. And I just don't see us performing like that against Burnley.
I hope I hope you're right. I'll clip that. Mike says here, thanks for joining us, Mike. You shouldn't be concerned for winning a game 3-1 and the tie was already over. I mean, you see, you went away last night because Mike's a Man United fan. You went away to Athletic Bilbao and you managed a 1-1 draw. And for all intents and purposes, you weren't the better team. And when I was watching your stream for a little while, you were screaming at the set about your performance. So it was a 1-1 away from home to Atletico Madrid, not a brilliant result. It's all opinions, Mike. It's all opinions, and I totally respect Brad's 100%. Facebook, you've not watched much football. If you think that joke of a performance was okay, it was terrible, but you won't understand that judging by your comment above. I think he's referring there to Mike, possibly.
I don't know who he's arguing with in the comment, but
Randers is a conference similar team compared to be playing someone in the Premier League. The amount we gave away as Premier League team, we would have been thrashed. As Mike and Brad say, it is all ifs, buts, and maybes. But of course, I say
that's like saying if we defended and played like we did against Liverpool at home, we'd win the league. You can't do these comparisons. It's not fair to do that to the squad that's just gone out there. Whether they're under the cosh or not, they've gone out there and won comfortably tonight on the results. That will do them the world of good. Yes, they'll probably be a bit frustrated that they didn't quite get, a bit of an urgent result through the doors in the first half, but they got it. At the end of the day, that squad needs confidence. Yes, Randers had a lot of the ball. Spoiler alert, they were already 4-1 down. That's why they had a lot of the ball. They needed goals. I don't know if you know how football works, but that's why.
I know. As I say, you're looking at it as an overall tie.
Yes,
I'm looking
that's
at that
exactly how they would have played it, and that's what.
And I'm looking at that performance as a one-off 90-minute performance. And the concerns on that.
We just won 3-1 playing that way. You know what I mean? If we've won playing that way, imagine what we'd have done if Roger said go out there and absolutely destroy them. You know what I mean? And play the best of your ability.
Yeah. But that said, we disagree on the performance. Let's say we'll say that, and it is all about opinions. But
exactly.
Let's see, 1-0 up after 2 minutes. That was probably, in fairness, that was tie over, and the players wouldn't be normal if they didn't, like you say, slip down the game and think, well, 5-1. Are they going to score 5 goals past us? Even Leicester, I mean, basically, if we had let 5 goals in, I would be certainly on the Brendan out brigade. So it kind of was good, but it killed off the match as a spectacle, didn't it? Because they didn't need to perform, like you say, they didn't need to
exactly.
Do anything.
It's all well and good fans sitting here saying, "Oh, well, it was crap," and I'm not disagreeing that against a stronger opposition it would have been crap, but again, it's not a stronger opposition. We were 5-1 up for, we were 5-1 up after 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes of the game, 1 minute 40 to be exact. We were 5-1 up. What do you need us to do? It doesn't, you know what I mean? What happens if them players run? Well, yeah, exactly. Facebook, you said exactly what I just said. Why go out and risk an injury? Why go out and risk, them taking out a tricking, stepping, full-pace running Madison? Why go out and risk an injury to Daniel Amati? But keep it slow. Yeah, okay, the football and passing is still to be questioned. We've had that problem even when we've looked good, to be honest with you. I know not as bad as tonight, but still, the sloppy passes have been there. So,
yeah. And I think I like as well. I mean, I've actually tweeted Ian Dark, who's doing the commentary. He couldn't seem to remember that we didn't have a game at the weekend. Everything he was saying was about, oh, Leicester will be up for the game this weekend. I'm thinking, yeah, okay, Ian, do your homework. So I'm expecting either no reply or a very sarcastic one. And I think, again, for me, I'm thinking, well, we've not got a game now till Burnley next week. We can put that more effort in because we've got a week to get by. But like I say, it was a well-taken goal by Harvey Barnes. I mean, that, and I suppose, again, being that early in, it could make you think, here's another 5-6-0. We're 1-0 up after 2 minutes. And it literally, if you were a Randers fan, you're packing up and going home, aren't you, really? But it was a well-taken goal.
Yeah, it was. And to be fair, all three of them were great, good finishes to be.
Oh, yes, of course, yes.
To be honest. But yeah, it was exactly what Leicester needed. And like I've stressed and you stated, it killed the tie off completely. I mean, it was practically killed off anyway, but you don't want to get too complacent, but you get that early goal. And if you do that, which they did, I just imagine that if that goal doesn't go in, you see Leicester play at that tempo until they get it anyway. I think it was clear instructions. Let's just sew it short. We've got the needle and thread. Let's just finish the job we did at home. Let's sew it short, completely knock the wind out of the sails, and then get through the second half.
Are you going for the Guinness World Record of how many metaphors you can get into a sentence?
I'm trying for it, man. I'm seeing
in the sails, sew it up at the back. But yeah, you're quite right. You are quite right on that. Like I say, for me, apart from the defence, it was good. And it looks like Barnes is back. And I know it's sort of touch wood if we say that, but he's back from his injury by the look of it. He came off sort of towards the end. And we'll come on to Perez later, but
do we have to?
Yeah, we do, unfortunately. But I've got to ask you about Vestergaard, and we're going to come on to the other goals in a minute. But I can't actually blame him for that goal, and I can't really even blame Schmeichel for that goal because it was a simple pass back that Schmeichel should have collected. And I think he would have collected it, but of the state of the pitch. It reminded me very much of that. Was it the goal against Croatia that one of the England goalkeeper, Rob Green, let in? Yeah, it reminded me very much of that.
And it was Paul Robinson against Croatia.
Paul Robinson, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to laugh at it, ain't you? Because you look at the saves that Schmeichel had to make, and he did have to make a few good saves tonight. There was a few clearances off the line. But it's just typical Leicester, isn't it? It's like, remember that match that the Sutton goalkeeper got loads of bets placed on him for eating a pie or a paper or whatever it was on that match? You felt like there must have been bets on that. And that's not the way it happened, because I hope not. Mal said that. I hope not. Don't invest. No, definitely wasn't. No, Leicester
you could put the bet on Leicester conceding, couldn't you?
Yeah, well, I think we've got a bit lonely in the last 2 weeks, not conceding from 2 games, not conceding from corners. So we thought, this time.
I'm going to say, before anybody starts, and he didn't have as good a game as he did in the first leg, Vestergaard, but you can't. People are already blaming him for it, and I'm sorry. Sorry.
I said, of course they would. Go on.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. And it wasn't his fault, like I say, at all. It was a straight back pass. Anthony, you just put the kiss of death on us there. An Arsenal fan tipping us to get to the final. We're not going to now. But Maddison's goals. I mean, that was Maddison of old, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was a nice little bit of magic. I believe that took him on to 10 goals this season in all competitions. Well, 11 in total if the second one. So it's nice to see. It's something he needed. He'd gone 6 without scoring, so it was always good to get him back on the score sheet.
Yeah. Facebook, do you know how? I see your point there, and it's a valid point. But do you know the travelling our boys have done to get to Randers? I think it was about a 30-minute journey from East Midlands Airport, wasn't it? Literally, they are now on the plane back coming home, and they'll be tucked up in their own beds tonight. So I don't think they did a lot of travelling to get to Randers. Media Man says he's just here to get his pocket money from Uncle Brad. Brookline, we'll not go there, Brad. Brookline, good evening. How the devil are you? Lookman on the right and Lookman on the left are two completely different players. Yeah, traveling. I just did traveling. I mean, we would have travelled further than that to go and play Newcastle. So I don't see the point you're making there. Hiya Scott, how the devil are you? Some cracking strikes tonight from Barnes and Madison. There certainly was. So under 16-hour trip. Really?
I don't know. I've never been to that part of the world, so I don't know.
It's only across the. Like I say, they did say that they'll be getting home tonight and in their own bed, so I don't think it can be that long a trip. I told you Vestergaard was using potato guns before the game. That's why he's not trusted. Lookman is serviceable only on the right wing. David S says, as mentioned before, his best is left wing. It's a battle between him and Barnes. Agree that it was down to the terrible pitch. I don't blame Vestergaard either. Good, nice one, well said. Yeah, I mean, I think Lookman plays well for me. Maybe it's just it's all about opinions. Plays well for me on either side.
Yeah, it does for me. Obviously, he's going to be preferable and probably shine more on his natural side on the left-hand side. But he's done well on that right side, cutting in. He's got goals from coming in at the back post on the right side. For his career, he's got some assists by playing on there. He's done well when he's done on the left. It's nice to see him good on both sides. And like I said, it's very versatile. It's something that Leicester have been needed. And you know, if you're still one of them that is still against the idea of signing him, I'd really like to hear your argument as to why, unless it was just price. But even then, I'd still argue. You know, I'm a big advocate of Lookman. I really like him in a Leicester shirt.
I think, to be honest with you as well, it makes a change that for a long time we've not heard, is this the one that's going to replace Mahrez? Because people are just kind of, he's there, he's doing well and what have you. Madison's free kick, that was nice, wasn't it?
It was a trip down memory lane, wasn't it? It was nice to see him put one of them in the back of it and reminded the Southampton 9-0 one where the keeper just stood there and went, "Oh, well, that's."
I was thinking that. You read my mind, sir.
Yeah, I was just thinking it was like, the keeper just stood there, rooted to his spot, knew where it was going, knew there's nothing he could do about it, and it was just nice to see. It kind of added the gloss to it, and then so did his second goal. So
and again, he thinks, I did that corner, I'll do the other corner now.
Yeah, he kind of took the mick, didn't he, a little bit? He kind of just went, if I can put one on that side of you, let's see what I can do to this side of you.
Yeah.
And he did that well. It was good to see. Like I said, guys not scored in a few games, but played well. Like to see it a bit more often. I did kind of joke, I think it was on the last post, saying I'd like us to stop our free kick conceding record and maybe start scoring a few set pieces ourselves. So it's nice for one tonight.
And I tell you what, I really did notice, although it did creep back in towards the end, but in fact, I will allow it to be the passing up the back towards the end of the game was just basically to kill the game off. But my God, Casper has learned how to kick the ball out again, or he's being told he's allowed to, because he wasn't passing it out much at the back, was he?
No, he wasn't, and I'm kind of with you on hoping that's a thing going forward, that we don't play it out from the back too much. We have started to see it, and Vestergaard played, just plays a few over the top through balls. So it's good to see us maybe not playing it out the back. It's one thing that's really kind of had our fans' backs up against the walls. Ground our gears if you wish. It was nice to see for a change, wasn't it? Something that we've all nitpicked at and really cursed at, and seen it cost us goals as well as nearly cost us goals more than what we have done. So it was nice.
Yeah,
it was nice to see us clear our lines for once with a bit more.
Yeah, it was. It was like the first time I did it, I went, "Whoa, who's Warding or is he Apokovic in? What's going on?" It was noticeable. We didn't have a full bench again, though, did we? We had two goalkeepers on there.
No, but that's something he's always seemed to weirdly like doing. I don't know why. I did notice there wasn't any youngsters on that bench tonight. So it was one of them where I just kind of felt I would have maybe liked to see one of them on there instead of it for the experience, especially with our new flux of youth. But then we did have the Youth Cup tonight against Manchester United. I know it was 0-0 by the end of our game, but I don't know how it finished up. So be interested to see how they did. So yeah, maybe that's why we didn't see a youth player on there. But we had what we had on there. And luckily it was used in case of to rest players more than in case of emergency. So that helped as well tonight.
Yeah. And it just to get, and I'm only just because of the way that I've laid the slides out here, but I just to come back to what we were saying before, I know the only stat that matters is that 3 of our shots went in, but it does look at that, and you see that they had 23 shots. They had 3 times as many shots as us, and like I say, let's say it is a 3-1 result. It is 7-2 on aggregate, but should we have been letting them have that many shots? We will never know.
No, probably not.
You're back.
I mean,
you're there. Sorry, thought you'd gone then.
No, my thing's being a pain in the backside. Sorry, my phone was just playing up. No, I mean, you could argue maybe they shouldn't have so many shots on there, but at the end of the day, it was still expecting they were going to give a go to it. Like I said, they gave it all, even at 4-1 in the first leg, so you weren't expecting them not to go give it their all at the second leg. And to be credit to them, that's what they probably warranted the goal and mistake. The mistake in Turf played the big part in it, obviously, but they deserved their goal in the end. So you got to credit where it's due.
You can't complain that they got the goal. It wasn't
you certainly can't.
way, but and of course we find out tomorrow who we could get, because apparently there's a new Italian team that's called Jose Mourinho's Roma, which I always thought they were just called Roma, but apparently they're called Jose Mourinho's Roma because Ian Dark couldn't mention one without the other. Just in case anybody's interested, I am going to be doing a live stream tomorrow. I'm not sure what time it is yet, but whatever time the draw is, I'll be doing a live stream so we see who we get.
I think it's midday. The draw.
It's usually around midday. This is what Alan did straight after the match, and I've got to be honest with you, for me, he's probably spot on. And I know you're going to disagree with me on here, but James Maddison, man of the match for the 2 goals, you can't really argue with that. The manager did what he had to do. The team, I can see where he's coming from, because as I say, if you just take that performance, which is what he is doing in fairness, just that performance on its own, that 90 minutes, to me, that's probably about right. But that is probably, as I say, you've also got to take into account that that's all we needed to do. I'm not forgetting that.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't see how you can judge a win as a 5 and a 4. I couldn't give 8 for our performance against Wolves because we didn't win the game, but we won the game today, and it wasn't pretty, but it was done. I would boost them both up to 6s because I don't think the manager did a lot wrong tactically and how he lined us up and everything. And to be fair, the team improved a bit in the second half. They showed great determination. They were, determined to keep hold of that clean sheet. In a way, it was just sod's law that it happened the way it did. It's a bit of how's your luck, kind of still in the occasion for their goal, but I can't give 5 and 4s when we win a game, right? No matter how we do it, I'd have to give them 6s.
Yeah,
I agree with the man of the match.
I'm asking him, in fairness, to judge the 90 minutes.
Yeah, I can understand why over a 90-minute period, given the state of it, but I just can't do it for a lot.
I mean, I think against Wolves, we had the performance, but not the result.
Yeah,
against
exactly.
Randers, we have the result, but not the performance. It would be brilliant if we could put both of those together. We have done it occasionally in patches, but just not often enough.
And I think had we shown the same tempo and aggression as we did against Wolves, which we could have easily, if we'd have stepped up again, you'd probably be talking 9s because it would have been 5-6-0 Leicester, and they would have, obliterated them. But again, people have to understand as frustrating as it is, because I always want to see my team playing sexy, fantastic football, but sometimes you just can only rise to the occasion. And unfortunately, as much as Randers gave a great account of themselves, there wasn't much of an occasion to rise to for Leicester in the end. So,
yeah.
But they would have rose to it. I feel that's why I don't see it as such a bad performance on the basis of it, because I feel they would have rose to it had Randers got the early goal instead.
Question for you here from Jason. If Casper goes, who do we bring in? It's a big question there. I know what my answer is. What would your answer be, Brad?
Ooh, there's good choices of goalkeepers out there, isn't there? But would they come to Leicester? Who would you want? Oh, I mean, Danny Ward's already reliable enough for me as a number 2. I prefer him to get another year under the wing of Schmeichel, but he's at an age now. What is he, 27, 28? It's probably about the age where Casper was with Leicester, wasn't he, from the start?
Yeah.
You know, being 35, 36 here a while now. He's been our number 1 for a while. So you'd think the natural replacement would be Ward. I don't know if Leicester necessarily need to go out and buy a direct number 1, because we paid 12 million for Danny Ward, let's not forget. And Danny Ward's not really let us down. He's one of them that'll have to start earning his game time, and you'll probably see that more in Schmeichel's maybe last year of us. You'll see that transition maybe like we're seeing with Vardy. Granted, Vardy's been more for injuries this season, but we happen to see it with Daka.
He's 34, Schmeichel. He's not going to go on forever. And at 34, if he crashes down the wrong way and gets an injury, like with Vardy, at that age, it takes longer. But I'm definitely 100% with you. Is why go out and spend millions when we don't need to? Because we've got Danny Ward, who, like you say, cost 12 million. Is Wales number 1.
Yeah.
And forgetting Yapokovic, and no disrespect to Yapokovic, forgetting him, we've actually got some good younger goalkeepers that can then come up and still in that Danny Ward.
Yeah,
section.
And we've got quite a knack of bringing in some decent youngsters, haven't we? We've got quite a knack of it. So I'm not overly concerned. And if you're bringing someone in, I think it would only be fair to Danny Ward, who, like I said, has very rarely let us down to my knowledge.
No more than any other goalkeeper has.
Exactly. We all remember Peggy Arfax had style. I hope it go a bit better for him than it did. But Peggy was a great cup goalkeeper, wasn't he?
He went the other way, of course. He went to Liverpool.
Yes, he did. But that was because he ironically thought he was going to get first team football there with Westerveld in goal and all them. So he wasn't offered a Leicester jersey because we decided to give it to we brought Flowers, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
After Carroll left. Yeah. But I would hope we don't do that this when the time comes for
before the next question. My solicitors have told me that I've actually I've got to play this, so we'll be back straight after this. If there is any, can I just say as a disclaimer, if there is anybody watching that is called Foot Leg Boat, I apologise for laughing at your name. Please forgive me. But that's just for the solicitors. I'm just going to say that for the solicitors. That was a classic round. If you haven't watched it yet, get onto Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube. Drop down to either the latest shows or right down to the bottom to the quizzes and look at the big fat quiz number 2, episode 4, where basically that was Tony Cruz that he was trying to guess, and he came up with Foot Leg Boat, which we're trying to work out what team he played for. So, and if he does, would Man United sign him? That's the question. Probably yes. It's easy when you know the answers, in fairness. And I was wetting myself because he'd got knee, but then he talked himself out of knee and thought, yeah, but it could be leg. Like, Doug, mate. Thanks for just taking part, mate. What do we think of Samari? Scott is asking us. He keeps doing the same thing as mentioned before, passing straight back to where he has received the ball. Doesn't seem confident enough to create something.
Again, he's probably been brought in. People will remember obviously what he did at Lille when they won the French division. But he's also a young player. We have to remember that. And I think this is maybe Brendan going, oh, thank God, in the case of Ndidi, because he now has somebody that Ndidi can have rotate out and rest. He's got not a replacement for Ndidi as such, but he's got somebody who can work that position just as well. And he's just finding his way into his team. He's probably, you talked about before having the likes of Luke Thomas and JJ probably, and Fofana maybe getting into the team a lot quicker than they were expecting in terms of what they were brought up for, to get the experience, gain it. Kind of like Dewsbury Hall has in a way. He's got it, but he's nailed it down more. It's less to do with injuries because of Dewsbury Hall getting a shout out. It's more because of his effort and his ability at his age. But then players you felt, okay, yeah, they look good for the future. Let's not rush them. We had no choice. I feel like Samori's had that choice, and he's just embedded himself in slowly because he's not played that much, has he? He's only played when indeed he's been injured on a run of games. And aside from that, he's come off the bench, and I think he's just been told. I think the lads have kind of been given a hard reset, almost to kind of say, find yourself again. If you can go out there in 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 45 minutes, 90 minutes, whatever it is, and you can get a few solid passes under your belt, nice and simple, nothing too extravagant, get your basics back again, you'll be great for us, and you'll do exactly what we're requiring you of, and he'll develop over time with us, I feel.
Oh yes, I think he's not really had that much game time, in fairness, has he? Chloe says you won 3-1 and gave them a 4. What?
I know.
I think you're agreeing there with Brad, which maybe not be the biggest surprise in the world.
Maybe not.
Welcome along, Chloe. Nice to see you. Brad, it was very poor. Brad should go in goal for Leicester. Well, I'll tell you what, Chloe, he's the keeper.
Hey, that's a joke and a true mark.
Whoa, got in there with that one. Got in there with that one.
He just knocked that one out of the park.
Oh, God, I should be paid for this. Scott says Henderson from Man United. Oh, goalkeepers, sorry. Well, Iverson, you see, will move up, I think, when Ward moves up,
Yeah, I think progress.
Yeah. Scott, believes Iverson will be in the squad next week, or next season, sorry. Rene says, I knew Maddison score, amazing free kick. And of course, you're going to be pleased, Rene, because Fofana is back in training. I don't think he'll be back for Burnley. And it might be the wrong game to bring him back in, to be honest with you, because they're going to put some tough tackles in Burnley. And if he's not quite 100%, and I apologise for this, but I'm going to have to ask you anyway. I did say, you kind of know what's coming, and I can see you know what's coming. I'm just going to get up my tweet from Full Time, and if I can find it, my God, it was a while ago. There we go. I got good result, average performance, no clean sheet. A better side would have got 4 to 5 against us tonight, and I think all those points are valid on the 90 minutes. The next one, though, what does Perez offer us? Did you even know he was on the pitch after he came on?
No, I didn't. I
mean, all I saw, and in fairness, I'm not saying that anybody else was able to get through balls or anything, but I think it was something like a 40 pass. It was amazing passing and moving. And, it was I was waiting for the crowd to start doing the ole, but it didn't happen. And it finally got to Perez. And who gave it away? Yes, he did. I can even lip read your Perez.
I feel like he's dad at this point, where I just look at him and see him play a game of football or attempt to play football. And he comes off the pitch and he looks at me and I just look at him and go, I'm not even angry anymore. I'm just disappointed.
You sound like a parent. I'm not annoyed and I'm not angry. I'm just very disappointed in you.
Yeah.
I can just see Roger saying that in the changing room now. He's got to go in the summer, hasn't he? I mean, he just doesn't bring anything, because whatever position you look at him playing, we've got somebody better in that position.
Yeah, we have. And that's the real sad thing about it, because I never want to lose faith in a player at the club when they come here to wear the shirt and play for our club. But there is always going to be a little bit of expectancy of what they've come in to do and the level of their calibre. I'm expecting them to play at and do it. And I wanted Perez to be a good player. I did. I would have taken...
None of us want a player to come to Leicester and fail.
I would have taken him being in the role that I'm seeing, currently Vestergaard in the sense of he's a rotation player. He's not going to play every week, but he comes in, and once he's got a bit of confidence, he'd do all right. An impact sub, if you will. Like Lukeman was for a bit for us, and now he's starting to steadily get more and more game time. It's just never been that.
No,
he's never been that. In fact, the fact is his most infamous moment will be getting away with a ball to hand in the FA Cup final. Yes. It's going to be his Leicester highlight. It's a great highlight for him personally, but in terms of achievements he helped the club.
Technically, it wasn't in the same movement to passage of play, I think.
No, which is why it counted. But that and scoring a hat-trick against Southampton in the 9-0 is the two things he'll be remembered for. And even then you go, oh yeah, he scored a hat-trick as well.
Yes. But I just think, and again, no disrespect to Randers, but if you can't come on and I think this is the problem as well with Maguire at Man United. I think if Man United had bought Maguire for 15 million, there wouldn't be the fuss that they've got about him because they've paid 80 million and they expect this world-class centre-back. We paid 15 million for Vestergaard. We paid 30 million for Perez, and I can see a slow improvement in Vestergaard. I can't see anything in Perez, and I hate I hate the fact that we always got to have a scapegoat at Leicester. It was Chilwell for a season, and even when he was England left back. And I hate it, but I'm sorry, I just don't see what he brings to the team and what change he makes when he becomes done.
Yeah, sometimes every player that plays badly isn't a scapegoat. And to a point, I don't actually think with the right sense of fans that Chilwell was ever used as a scapegoat. He was just rightly judged when he played badly, and Chelsea fans have said, even when he's played well for them, he still is susceptible to having games where he can't decide whether he's defending or attacking. So, sometimes he came with a warrant. More times, there was Leicester fans that were a bit critical of him. But again, I agree with you. It might only be slight, but it was an improvement nonetheless by Vestergaard, and he's managed to do that in both the ties for me. And, again, I agree with you. Perez just hasn't done that, and I don't know why. But maybe it is. Maybe it's just a bridge too far for him. Maybe I think the most upsetting thing about Perez is I think if we'd have paid 15 million for him, I'd still be sitting here saying we pay too much for him. What he brought to us, look, God loves a trier, right? Ask me dad, he does. Right, and I admire everything he does. At least try and attempt in a Leicester shirt, and I'll never discredit him for putting it on and trying to give his all. But unfortunately, whatever it is he's able to give, it's not a lot in terms of quality that we need on the pitch. I would love to say he's good enough to fill the gap if Lukeman or Barnes are out injured and we can swing the other one on the other side and it's fine. But it's not. It's really not. I need therapy for Perez.
I mean, and it's not like, you could argue, well, this is,
Junior Lewis, mate.
Yeah. This is Vestergaard's first season with us, if you like, and it's been a hell of a season.
Perez has had 3 attempts at it.
Yeah, exactly. And in reply to where are we here? I forgot who said it now. In reply to Scott, who says Perez will be gone in the summer. Definitely a weak link. All I can say, Scott, is
you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I totally agree with you. Madison, as I say, was Alan's pick for man of the match. Would you pick anybody different?
But it's hard to pick anyone else, isn't it? Really, 2 great goals, free kick. We got like a highlight reel of what Madison can do. So happy days in the parts of the game where Leicester were good and at their flowing. He was the better of them. He had that free kick. He had his other goal, well taken. No keeper saving them. Happy days sort of thing. Like I said, it wasn't a glowing performance by any means. And again, I want to make people very aware that I'm not saying the performance itself was acceptable over 90 minutes, but it was for the job entailed for tonight. But again, for the performance that we saw or was put on show for us by Leicester tonight, Maddison was the standout player.
Yes. And Inacho, I thought he had a really good game. I'm beginning to notice with Inacho his possession and the little flicks and things he does off the ball, and he's he sets up a lot of players. But again, Ian Dark, commentator for BT, do your homework. He's saying like last season, Inacho was Leicester's biggest goal scorer. But he scored more than Vardy. He's not scoring so many this season. No, because he's hardly played, you dumb.
Yeah, but
do your homework and see how many games he's played.
Again, that's very, and I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it because I did the line-up work for a bit. It's very weak journalism, because what it is it's fact check. 19 goals last season, fact check. Okay, cool. And he'll know that'll get a reaction out of people, because it does. It's easy but lazy journalism. They can't be bothered to check it. They can't, even if he had said, he could have at least turned around and gone, Inacho's got X amount of goals. However, he has only done that by making X amount of starts or played this amount of games, and only X amount of them were actual starts. The rest were all off a bench. So he's still doing quite well. That would have been doing your research and realising he's done quite well given the limited time he's been afforded this season since the arrival of Daka. So yeah, I thought he did well enough tonight. I didn't think he did his chances any harm. He seems to be one that just quite can't nail a favourite spot in Brendan Rodgers' system, but he's still taking his chances when he gets them. And by that I don't mean he's not always scoring goals. He's obviously scored tonight, but he's still playing his part. He's still been a part of a move that leads to something or wins a free kick. So he's still doing what's required of him when he's on that pitch. So as long as I'm seeing that, I hope he just gets more of a chance to do it in the Premier League.
Yeah, I agree. I agree totally. And I think we can't go and finish tonight's show without a quick word here for Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, I'm making the most of it because we may be in the same position after next Wednesday. But, I mean, Burnley, we've got them coming up. I'm not as convinced as I was, to be honest with you. And I think they may even stay up.
Oh, well, it's just sod's law, isn't it? Just when we don't need a team like that in form and we could use it a nice 3 points, they go and find 2 wins on the bounce. But, positives from tonight, comfortable. 3-1, 7-2 on aggregate, no injuries, no scares of a knock. So win, goals. You take that against Burnley, who are going to be up for it. Maybe we use that to our advantage and put them on the back foot early, get ourselves an early goal like we did tonight. And who knows? Maybe we turn the tables and the run of Burnley's little reprieve, but we'll see. It'll be a different game. And
all I will say, if James Tarkowski is watching and you aren't even thinking about wanting to move to Leicester, own goal. 2 words, own goal. Okay?
Frank Sinclair. Frank Sinclair.
Yes, just like yes. As many as Frank Sinclair if you want to, but all in one game. It would be great. Brad, as always, people can find you on @FullTimeFocus on Twitter to give you a follow. The details are below. We can't go along without seeing each other. I will see you tomorrow night on Dan's show on Turf Moorhouse TV for the prediction show.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I'm doing community service. I don't know what your excuse for going on is.
I'm just doing my service as well, mate. It's a good cause. It's
a brilliant show because I just have a look what I did on ours the other night and just go, that. It's so easy. Oh, gotta love Dan. And he's so happy, bless him, beating Tottenham. And I'm on a I don't blame you, Dan. Enjoy it. And I'm going to say thanks for beating Tottenham as well because I hate Tottenham at the moment. Brad, I will see you then with no game this weekend.
Yeah, a nice little break.
Yes.
Get ready for Tuesday.
I don't think I've got any shows coming up. Nothing. Oh no, I was going to have a Saturday off, but Dan again roped me into something on Saturday. He must. I don't know if I copy him into my diary at all, and he sees, oh, Chris hasn't got a show then.
Maybe he does, mate. Maybe he does.
Yeah, gotta love you, Dan. Gotta love you, mate. Right. Scott, thank you, gentlemen. Always a pleasure to watch the channel. Take care, both. Thank you very much, Scott. Much appreciated.
Yes, Scott.
It's Brad, in fairness, that makes it a good show because he knows what he's talking about. I'm just sit here and garble on. But I will see you, apart from tomorrow, we'll be back for Wednesday, the post-match show, hopefully. No, Tuesday.
Tuesday post-match show.
Tuesday post-match show. Yes, we're playing on Tuesday. Thanks for coming on, mate. Have a really good weekend, and I will see you tomorrow at 9.
Yeah, I will see you tomorrow, mate. I've enjoyed it, and good luck to everybody else. Hope having a good night.
Brilliant, mate. Take care now.
Take care.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks to Brad. And yeah, he is quite right with his points. You know, we all have different points of view. And I mean, I was looking at it as a 90-minute synopsis and how we played in the one game. He, of course, was looking about how we played it over the whole tie. It doesn't matter. We're through. I'll be back tomorrow for the draw, 12 o'clock-ish. I'm going to find out when it is. If you are on YouTube, if you just click the little bell icon, it will remind you when I've got shows coming up. But we'll see who we get for the draw tomorrow. Scott, will it be Josie Roma? Josie Roma FC. We will find out tomorrow at 9. The European tour goes on. I've got a funny feeling in my water about this, you know. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow, lunchtime-ish, and enjoy. And remember what I say, don't do anything that I won't enjoy. Cheers now.
Leicester Till I Die podcasts on the Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Anchor, and all podcast platforms.
The Leicester Till I Die shop is now open.
For all your Leicester Till I Die merchandise,
Visit the Leicester Till I Die shop at our website. Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
That's all, folks.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now.